In today's lesson, I am going to teach you forward bend, or what I sometimes call the prayer pose. And you know what? I want to show you this one because this is one of those ones, if someone were to ask me, you know what, Shai, I only have time to do one thing on you today, what would you like? I will usually pick this one because for me, this is kind of like the all-in-one. When you put someone in this move, it's like you are massaging and stretching out their entire body just with one sweet move. So again, it takes about anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes to do this move, and then you can massage the whole body just like that. So we have Ariel here. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good? Ready to feel what this is all about?
Totally.
Totally. Me too. I'm ready to show it. So here's what we're going to do to start it off. We want our partner to show us what their flexibility is, what they can do. So as I'm going to put her in a forward bend, before I do anything to her, she can show me her own ability. So I'm going to ask her to turn and face this way. And I'm going to stand, or just be on the side here, and just take a look. And I'm going to ask her, can you please go down to the mat? Okay, so I can see that Ariel doesn't go all the way down to the mat, but she can certainly go forward quite a fair bit of the way. Her hips, she's able to sit cross-legged and have her knees pretty much down to the ground. So she's pretty flexible like that. I'm going to ask you to come back up now. Let's say you're doing this with a partner whose knees are not so close to the mat, like up here like this. So if she wants to have her legs crossed, but her knees are high like that, you take some pillows and you're going to put some pillows or blankets, something like that, under the legs to support sitting comfortably that way. Now, of course, not everyone's going to be able to sit cross-legged as they do this. That's okay too. I've done this with people who are tight in all kinds of ways. So someone who's kind of more in the medium flexible kind of category, they would look something like this. They would probably want to have their legs opened up in front of them. So either with their legs straight, show us that. But more often than not, legs will be out to the side a little bit, and maybe even sometimes with knees bent and out to the side. So if the knees are bending, again, you might want to tuck something underneath so that there's no space between the mat or the bed and the knees. And for those who are even less flexible, what some people like to do is hug their knees. Okay? So literally their forward bend, they'd be hugging their knees, and their forward bend might just be something like that. Now, it might not look like she's doing much to go forward that way, but I can promise you that if someone is really tight in their body and their legs and in their back, that little movement is incredibly beneficial to help open up the body. But for now, in Ariel's case, since she can sit cross-legged, we'll ask her to sit cross-legged and easing in. Okay, so here's how we ease into this. So for you, you are going to be in a warrior stance behind your partner. You're going to get into this position, one leg up, one knee down, and you can do this on a mat, you can do this on a bed. And the first move, the easiest way to put someone in a guided stretch is simply this. It's to let them know, okay, we're going to go forward into a stretch. Now, we've already seen Ariel demonstrate her flexibility. So in her case, she can go almost to the mat, but since she's not going all the way, I'm either going to put a bolster, a pillow, a blanket, something in her lap that helps her to feel even more supported. So let's do it with a bolster. I'm going to have her hands go right in front. I'm going to ask her to now, I'm going to let her know that I'm going to bring her forward. So I'm going to hold her arms and simply guide her forward. A little bit from her arms and a little bit just by pressing on her back. And the first way to really ease in is just allow her to rest in this position. If someone is really tight, that might be all I do. Someone in Ariel's case, a little more flexible, I might press in 1 or 2 spots, really light pressure on her back. So I'm in this warrior stance, arms straight, back straight, easing into it, just a couple of sweet presses on the back. Sweep it out. And to bring her up, I'm going to just come a little closer, put my hands on her shoulders, pull really lightly, and as she comes up, push into her back to help straighten her up that much more. And from here, I'm going to check in. I'm going to say, hey, Ariel, how was that?
That was good.
Do you want to change anything about how you're sitting? Do you want a different pillow? Do you like the bolster? Or
I like the bolster.
Okay, you want to keep your legs crossed like that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that was our first time in. Now by bringing her up, I've given her back and her muscles a chance to relax, and then we can go into it a second time. So the second time I'm usually going to hold this position a little bit longer. And we can do that by starting to massage the back at the same time that she's being stretched. So here is the vertebrae in the middle of her back. We want to make sure that we're not pressing there, but the flat bone at the bottom is the sacrum. And that is such a sweet spot. So we're going to start there. I'm sitting in diamond stance to get in the lowest part of her back. And in each spot, I'm going to do this move where I make some circles. I'm using my soft fist to do that, and then sinking to one side, then the other. One side, then the other. Shorter pauses to begin with. And then if she wanted more pressure, I can increase those pauses. And for even more pressure, instead of doing one side at a time, I'll press with both hands at the same time. Moving up to the second spot. And I can either be in diamond, or I can come up to kneeling diamond for this one. You make your choice in such a way that you feel like you're using your whole body to help you. Starting with my circles, one side, then the other, pausing for just 1 or 2 seconds the first time, and then maybe a little bit longer. And then I can press with both fists at the same time. Now, as you can tell, she's already been in this move for almost a minute, maybe even a little more than a minute. So when someone is more flexible, then they can probably stay in this move for 2, 3, 5 minutes in one go. When someone is less flexible, you definitely want to be even more aware of how long they're staying in there. So if I want to go all the way up and down her back, and she's medium flexible or less flexible, that means I'm going to bring her up more often to give her those breaks. Balance it out. Ease into it. Open up her body. And of course, every time she comes up, you can also make it part of the massage to squeeze the shoulders a little bit, and then you can see if she wants to change anything up. So maybe change it the way her legs are crossed. So we'll switch the legs this time. That'll stretch her hips out slightly differently. And then coming forward again. So I've already done the low back, and I'm going to do the middle back. So this time I am up either in kneeling diamond or back in warrior. And I've also changed my hands this time because it's just more natural for how my palms fit in. It also helps me to change it up so I'm not overusing any part of my body. Palming from one side to the other and then both at the same time. Now, in her case, especially because of how far forward she can go, it starts to be a big reach as I go higher up, so I might even want to stand for this last one. Going between the shoulder blades, it's about as high as I want to go. Circles, one side, then the next, one side, then the next, and then going into both sides at the same time. A couple of little variations. We can, for a more flexible partner, you could add in this. A little cross palm. One hand is up on the back of the shoulder, one hand is at the low back, and I'm sinking in. Release. I might switch my stance here and do it on the opposite sides. Of course, I went up the back, I can press the same way as going down the back, and another place where I might press for someone who's open like Ariel would be to press on the thighs. One thigh at a time, and then maybe both at the same time. Finishing this up, lots of sweeping. And easing her back up to seated. And again, as she comes up, I'm going to just put my fist in the middle of her back to help straighten her up nice and tall. I might sweep more, I might squeeze more, and finish it up in just such a beautiful way. Bringing her arms off the bolster. And let's see how she's doing. How was that?
That was good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Really relaxing.
Really relaxing. Good. And do you feel like your back got a good stretch?
Yeah.
What about your legs or your hips?
Yeah, really like opening all this part. Even like, I don't know, it's opening, but like kind of bringing more like openness to it and relaxation.
Good. And there you go, you know. So I think Ariel hit on a really important point. And with this one move, you really get a good understanding of what Thai massage is all about when you put someone in a stretch. So that when you're stretching them with intelligence, with care, and with ease, you can add in massage touch at the same time, and it gives that whole effect of both relaxation and opening at the same time. And that is just so healthy for the body, exactly what the body wants. So try it out, forward bend, and see how it goes. Okay, so the last thing I'll say is just have lots of props. So again, you're going to have people who can sit through this in very different ways, and the more pillows and rolled up blankets and things like that you have that can just help them be comfortable while they go into this forward bend, the better it's going to be. Thanks so much, and happy massaging.